There are all sorts of ways to do this. I'll move this bowl out of the way. The most important part is making sure that you're building tension. I'm going to teach you the way I do it. I'm going to be shaping these into batard or oval shapes for the bread basket. First thing I want to do is put a little more flour down, grab this, and I try and make triangular shape. What I'll do then is once I have this triangle, I'll grab this end and fold it up. And then once I've folded that up, I'm going to take the two corners of the triangle and pull them out and push them in here. So pull it out, push it in here. And then what you're left with is kind of a reverse triangle. So you grab these two ends and you push them in like this. Pull them out and push them in. Now, I'm going to do that again with this loaf just so you can see it again. But as you can see here, we have the shape of an oval, but that's not the shape we're going to use in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out or roll it up. And you want to be careful because as you can see, there's a gas bubble right here. There's two of them. You want to be careful not to push those gas bubbles out. So I always get my hands nice and floury, and then I'll just gently fold it over like this, and then just kind of roll it up like that. And then I'll tuck under the sides and then move it along the board like this. And what this is doing is building a nice surface tension. And you can see that this is a nice oval shape. I am going to transport this into a bread basket, and this is going to be its final shape until I bake it. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have this rice flour on my table? The rice flour is a nice way to protect the outside crust of your dough. If you put the rice flour on, it acts as a nice barrier, and that's really important if you have a bread basket that doesn't have a linen. And there are times when you might want to do that. So these bread baskets have a cool textured shape. You may want to just put it in there without the linen so you get that indentation on your bread. Maybe you're washing your linen. There are all sorts of reasons, or maybe you're using some other form of basket that doesn't have a linen with it. If you're using a linen, it doesn't matter so much. And if you don't have a bench scraper, you can very carefully use your hands, get underneath it. But the nice thing about the bench scraper is I can just scoop underneath it like that. And then I'm gonna put the bottom side here that doesn't have the rice flour pointing up. So I'm just gonna flip it into the bread basket like that. What I do is I just find the seams and I cross them over with a little hand stitch. If you don't see the seams or they're already integrated nice, you can just leave it. You don't have to do that. All right, so let's try that again. I'm gonna put a little table flour down. I'm gonna grab this one and I just kind of plop it until I get a triangular shape. It just, I don't know what it is, but it just kind of happens naturally for me to get that triangular shape, and I hope it does for you too, but it's never failed me. I've got the triangle pointing the opposite direction this time, and I guess just for consistency, I'll flip it around. So I'm gonna take this bottom corner of the triangle and pull it up and in, and then I'm gonna take the top corner, pull it out and in, and then this one out and in, and then I've got a new triangle here. So I'm going to take these bottom corners, pull them out and in, pull them out and in. One thing you'll notice is that the higher hydration dough you have, the stickier these will be. So when you pull it and push it in, it's just going to stick. With lower hydration doughs, that's not going to happen as easily. And so you might see some people stitch them up a little bit before they roll it, you know, kind of like that. And that's totally fine. Like I said, there's so many ways to do this. The important thing is that you're building up tension in your dough. But I've got this nice oval shape, and now I'm gonna roll it. So I'm just gonna pull it, roll it, roll it, roll it, tuck in the sides, and then pull on it on the board a little bit, just very gently, and you can see all the gas bubbles in there. So this one I'm not going to use rice flour. I'm just going to grab it and pop it down. This one does need to be stitched up, the seams on the bottom. There we go. All right, so now I've got my 2 bannetons full with dough. The last thing we have to do is cover these. You could use like a plastic bag. The idea here is you don't want these to dry out while they're in the fridge. Plastic bag is one option. Kitchen towel is another option. Honestly, I've had great success with just a regular kitchen towel like this. The same one I use to cover my dough bowl. You just put it over the top. There are companies out there that sell reusable breadbasket covers. You could check out those, you know, for a more sustainable option. But you want to cover it with something. That's very important, because if you leave it uncovered, your refrigerator is going to dry it out, you know, suck the moisture out of there. What we'll do now is we'll cover these, put them in the fridge overnight. I would try to bake them the following day is what I would recommend. Good job.